What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK?
As always, Chris, I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
Hey, man, life is good, and we are excited that you, the gamers, are joining us on primetime, baby, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We have an amazing show for everybody that's tuning on in. And I just want to let you guys know, I just realized our QR codes are gone missing just now on Restream. But I do want to let you guys know, HenricK's got an amazing YouTube channel. It's real simple, HenricK. And you can go ahead and follow me too at YouTube at Chris Collins Show. Always want to give you guys that friendly reminder because after all, you guys are the ones that are making this possible. So the like, share, subscribe, all the support you guys give us, it means the world. It excels this show to the next level. And as you can see from the lower third, speak up, get featured live on air. If HenricK says something completely outlandish, which I know he's got a lot to say today, or, if you just agree with everything that your homeboy always, just the soliloquies that I bring to you, bring the good vibes, let me know. Or if you think
Conversely, if Chris says some out of pockets, nonsense.
So I'm out of pocket.
Then call him out.
Okay, fair enough. Fine. I'd love for you guys to call me out. Let's see what you got, fam. But we always like to start off the show with a bang, and we always like to check out clips that are circulating all across the globe. And in a hilarious video gone viral with popular streamer Nick Mercs, clearly he wasn't, was he or was he not excited about a phone call that he received from his wife on stream about important news? If you haven't seen the clip, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Honey, I'm on stream and you're on speakerphone.
I just wanted to tell you I got so many plants for my butterfly garden, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm buying ladybugs, like a whole bunch of them.
That's great.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Ladybugs, they kill off other insects.
The ladybugs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you're an idiot. Bye.
That's great, honey. Jesus Christ, man. That's what we got going on in this shop. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I don't know how it's going over there. But over here.
Oh, man. Funny. But you were saying before you thought it was kind of cringy, though.
No, it's kind of on him for accepting the phone call and putting her on speakerphone. Like, he was just planning to put her on blast, basically.
Or maybe he was reading the chat as it was going down. I was kind of trying to skim as much as I can because, that feed goes really very fast.
Yeah, that's true.
One person wrote, do ladybugs become invasive? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a point. Maybe he was just trying to see what his viewers were thinking, and then maybe could assess, how he truly feels with his wife. But the comments obviously were extremely active when it came across this viral video. The first comment that we got here is, no offense to anyone who's confused about this, but if you think this was anything but banter, you are an SOT. Single, online, and maybe terminal. This guy's going to be divorced in 5 years tops. What do you think, HenricK?
Yeah, it's not looking good. I'll be honest.
Looking good? You don't think so? I mean, if you're pulling in the Brad like Nick Mercs, he's back on Call of Duty. Remember, we talked about it, all that LGBTQ plus scandal. You guys going to have to watch that on another time. We talked about it already, okay? If my wife calls me midstream to talk about ladybugs and butterflies, you better believe the entire stream is put on hold for 20 minutes while we discuss the benefits of those mother effing ladybugs. We all getting educated for a hot minute. Lord knows my chat could use the extra knowledge. So, I mean...
Hey, you know what? That would be a very clippable moment. And instead of being clipped in this way where people are now clowning on you, you could have been like... clipped for the good reasons, Well,
I'm going to tell you right now, future wife, if you're watching right now on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, if you have the audacity to call me with the ladybug nonsense while my co-host HenricK and I are live on air, you're going to get slammed on air. This just is what it is, fam. But another clip that's going viral is every parent's worst nightmare is finding out that your son got access to your credit card without permission, spending How much now? 600 euros online. Yes, but this couple kind of feels a bit salt and pepper. One of them is really ticked off. Clearly, the other one finds it as a funny moment to record it for the rest of the world to see.
You fucking care what you've been doing, Lennon? You care you've been buying them? 600 fucking pound? That's no fucking funny, Courtney. Oh no. I went down to the bank the other day, she's where's all my money?
Okay, the accent makes it so much better.
Right? 600 bones? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. You know, he's handling it pretty cool because I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if that was my pops, oh, man. You know, we'll save that for another time. But rightfully so. I give him permission. Everybody deserves an ass beat. Yeah, right, exactly. So, you know, obviously there was comments around this video. Take the Xbox and sell the Xbox to get the money back. That is the easiest way to assess the problem. Really good life lesson for the kid, I would say. You know, once you start playing on that Nintendo Switch, I'm just kidding. Ah, no, we're not clowning. We're not here to clown Nintendo. They just had a Nintendo Direct today. Okay, let them breathe. Let them cook.
Sure.
Hey, honey. Yeah, right. Hey, honey. When I walk in the room with the cameras start being all dramatic and stuff, so we can go viral. Some people are calling this clickbait. What do you think, HenricK?
It definitely could be, but I mean, that dad did seem genuinely upset.
It was a bit of a delay until the wife walked in. I will give it that. But, you know, we have here, everyone's saying sell the games. Doesn't understand how digital purchases work, clearly. If the dad goes onto the Xbox website, he can refund the lot anyway. Then either take the card details off the Xbox or add a payment passkey. I don't understand why people leave card details on consoles. I can tell you why. You ever had a baby boomer ask you, hey, you want to just order food out tonight? Do you want to just set it up on Uber and DoorDash, and then they have access to your credit card, and you're going, holy hell, what's up with all the 600 bones you spent on my credit card, lad?
No, exactly. Like, you can't expect someone who's already technically deficient in terms of setting this up to be able to figure out the security to make sure their kid doesn't spend 600 bones.
Exactly. And I know Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, they've all have tried to combat this for years, right? It's not like they just have completely put a blind eye over this and it was like, yo, you know, that's your problem. But, you know, these videos happen quite often. And I would truly say you guys got to find a way to put a limitation. Like, if you're noticing that, you know, I don't know if this was during a short period, HenricK, or what this was over time, but if it was within like a short period and something doesn't get flagged on the Xbox Game Store end, like, that's kind of crazy. But then I understand.
Think about it from the perspective of the people running the game, though, Chris. Like, if we're gonna make it that, you know, someone wants to pay $600 legitimately,
we're gonna give them the opportunity.
We're going to give them the opportunity.
Exactly. Very, very true. So there is a bit of, you know, a bit of discourse when it comes to that. But hey, we got another viral clip here, and this is for attention for all partners of Helldivers 2 players. If your loved one is off spreading freedom and democracy throughout the galaxy, fear not. Fear not. Because let's face it, living with someone who is more committed to their mission than taking out the trash can be a challenge, I understand. And this wife has launched a support group for those in need. If you haven't seen the video, let's go ahead and take a look.
Wives and girlfriends of Helldiver soldiers. So we need to do our part. I've been taking notes on how we can support the cause, on the language that we need to understand to be part of the lore. This is probably my best one yet. These are things that you can say to your soldier, i.e. Helldiver gamer, in order to engage, strike conversation, and hopefully cause something else to happen. So first of all, of course, above all else, the mission, the war, democracy. So before they start playing, because nothing's going to happen if they need to, you know, serve, do their duty for that day. So before they go to their daily duty, saying things like the only good bug is a dead one. That's a big one. You know, if they're like, oh honey, like, can I get on? Like, I gotta go fight. Yeah. Like, I'm doing my part, you go do yours. It's going to hit different. And then if you really want to get in there, the boys need you in the field. Democracy doesn't sleep. Like, just really hit them hard. Now, these you're going to use after because if they have the desired effect, you can't distract them from the cause. So the automatons, I always have trouble with that. The automatons never stood a chance against you. Next, another hard day in the name of freedom. You understand what he's going through. And finally, salute him and say, I must join the cause. I'm not going to say what type of desired effect that has. There's a couple different routes that this can go. You may be enlisted to game. You may be enlisted to do something else. I'm just here to help.
For this clip, you said, oh, maybe some of these gamers are not taking out the trash. Don't worry. We're taking out the trash for democracy. We're cleansing the galaxy of the automatons and the bugs, all right?
That's right, because you know what, HenricK? Democracy doesn't sleep, okay?
Exactly.
And all those future partners, you need to understand this or you're going to find out the rough way, if you know what I mean. But the first comment that we got here is this generation's Rosie the Riveter. Pretty funny. Gotta love
that's
it.
a good one.
He keeps your pictures in his helmet. He thinks of you. He fights for you. That's right.
And for democracy.
And for democracy. Of course, right? As a female and a helldiver, I love this. Please, Sony, release this on Xbox so we can turn the tides. My friends and I are being slaughtered. Yes, come on. We need that cross-play platform. Stop with the console war nonsense. I know Bethesda, and Xbox, they're kind of giving some of us Sony players some love with their exclusive, first-party content.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but, it still looks like it's still going to be a tussle until they can start figuring out what they're going to do with this whole streaming and cloud gaming war. But let's get the show rolling because we got a lot going on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and we do want to remind you, the listeners tuning on in, comment throughout the show, live on air. Your comment can be featured as a lower third. If HenricK says something, sometimes he has a good point. I guess I could give him that. I'm just trying to keep it real.
It's not you who has the takes sometimes that are questionable. Sorry. It's not me. It's you who has the questionable takes sometimes.
Okay, gotcha. So if there's something that I've been saying and you want to call me out on it, come for me. I'm ready for y'all. I ain't leaving anytime soon because this is my show with HenricK. But we do definitely want you, the gamers, to chime on in because we got a lot of things to discuss. But hey, might as well get the show on the road. HenricK, you ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely. It's time to rage, baby.
Hey, let's get it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Tekken 8. Tekken is a series that has been around since 1994. However, the last Tekken game was released back in 2015, so clearly Bandai Namco felt like now was the time to return to the series. But is now a good time, or will the game feel left in the dust compared to other fighting games on the market? To start off, let's look at the gameplay. The gameplay of Tekken 8 is very familiar to anybody who's played a fighting game, let alone a Tekken game. Like many other fighting games such as Street Fighter, it involves a 1v1 matchup against an opponent fighter. One big benefit of the Tekken series is the eccentric cast of characters, each with their own playstyles. But aside from the characters, the game has introduced a heat system alongside recoverable health, but kept the gameplay similar to previous titles. If it works, then why fix it, right? The recoverable health system is self-explanatory, but the heat system involves activating a new meter of heat that increases your offensive potential. Both features require you to go on the offensive to take advantage of. The point of these features is to keep the flow of battle consistently well-paced, and this additionally helps prevent people from turtling up, as you are incentivized to keep pressure. But how about the story? It has been a decent part of the series after all. To a new player, the story is going to be a little confusing. There is little context given on why characters have the powers they do, among other things. However, at the same time, the story is easy enough for anybody to follow. Kazuya Mishima is trying to gain more power to have a foothold on the world as a whole, and it is up to Jin Kazuma, Kazuya's son, to stop him. Along the way, Jin has to come to terms with the power that has been passed down by his father, the power of the devil gene. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
All right, I want to be honest first up. I haven't played a Tekken game until this one for a while. It's been a while.
Oh, you slept on Tekken 7?
Kind of, yeah. It wasn't on my radar, at all, really. Then again, back then, gaming was a different landscape for me. I was more focused on other genres.
Yeah.
But this one was a nice little refreshing experience, actually going back to Tekken and trying this one out. The new addition of the heat system, as well as the recoverable health, was a nice addition to just any fighting game, because it kind of gives you a chance to kind of then compare this to a game like Street Fighter 6, where Street Fighter 6 has the super armor abilities that you can just pull out at any time to kind of break yourself out of a combo, or if you time it badly, you could still get comboed through it anyways. But yeah, this one, it was a great time playing it. I had a fantastic time from start to finish. The game feel itself, just whenever a punch or a kick or anything contacts the opponent, just makes you feel like, yes, I did some damage.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It does feel like a slug fight. I mean, you can certainly win a bout or two by button smashing, that's for sure. But I don't know. I mean, when I'm playing Tekken 8, I just don't feel like it reaches the height of like recent rivals, like you referenced. Street Fighter, you got the likes of Mortal Kombat. This is a really tough competition. But, I have to give it to you. The Namco's new heat system is a great addition. And you got over 32 fighters and over 16 battle stages to fight up against, and 3 brand new faces. That is really, really exciting. And I think the greatest feature with Tekken 8 is their online play. That is going to be the bread and butter to this entire game and for the future of the franchise. Because I feel like the story it's cool, but
I said, you're confused halfway through the story if you haven't kept up, because I had to go and actually watch a video recapping some of the previous games for it to make sense for me.
And that's why you kind of understand why the likes of like Mortal Kombat, for example, felt the need that they needed to restart, revamp, go into a different universe, because they understand there's a whole new generation of gamers that don't know the whole history timeline, and how do we engage with them? Well, we got to bring stuff new to the foyer. I don't know about you, Henrik. I know there are over 16 battle stages, but some of them kind of feel a bit lackluster. A lot of people, in the gaming media did reference, like Arena Underground, for example. Super boring, dark, open format. What is this, like the final stage in Super Smash Brothers? Like, what are we doing? And then
at the same time, Chris, fighting gamers are a different breed when it comes to the stages themselves. A lot of people who play fighting games, they want simplicity. They don't need fancy schmancy. Look at the Super Smash Brothers tournaments, for example. A lot of them don't even put some stages into the rotation of matches, because they just want that final destination. It's just a platform with 2 sides, and that's it.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're going to be charging like $70+, sorry, like that, we're gone with the past when it comes to those kind of things. I'm sorry. When Injustice 2 feels like a bit more refreshing than Tekken 8, that's a problem.
Injustice?
It does. I would say Injustice 2 feels like a lot more fun game after a couple weeks going into Tekken 8 than this one. I'm sorry. Like, for me, this is a definite pause. I wouldn't be continuing on with this game. Yes, I do know that, the button smashers out there are going to be loving this game. They've been trying to combat that because of the new heat system, which really, you have to hit it with the right opportune strike to really kind of fulfill those kind of heat strikes throughout the game, which I think is really, really cool. But,
Well, Chris, you don't have to be a button smasher in this game. There's a system just specifically for you where you can kind of simplify your combos, but you can still make it feel like you're doing something great.
Is this
You
like
might get countered by people, but you'll feel awesome at the same time.
Are you teasing me about those accessibility features that feel like MLB The Show, where it's like X to pass, square to square to hit? Kind of removing all the extra features. Do you want a line drive hit? Do you want a ground ball? Do you want to try to go for the home run? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I don't know. We'll see how long the online play carries out. You got a lot of multiplayer games that are really excelling in the year 2024, and I'm still going to stand by that. Tekken 8, the biggest thing that's going for this game is the online play. I just don't know if the concurrent players are going to be sticking around when it comes to the summertime. I feel like this game is going to be very lost and forgotten by the time late May comes around. And for me, that is kind of like one of the main reasons why, I don't always play all these kind of style of fighter games, but this one just doesn't quite hit. But then again, it's not for everyone, like HenricK is suggesting.
I mean, at the same time, I will say this, though. This series, for the first time, is doing a live service. And the benefit to that is they kind of can update the game and add in more...
No, no, that is not a benefit. Those are called patches. They've been doing that without a live service. There's not a benefit
exactly.
to that. You are saying literally every Tekken fan's worst fear for this franchise because they've never experienced a live service to their beloved franchise. And so now stuff like cosmetics, in-game items that used to be given to you in the game, now is something that, if you want it, you can pay for it. It's a play to earn. I got corrected before the show. It's not a pay to play. It is a play to earn. But gosh, I guess who would have thought, like Mario Kart, right, that there would ever be DLCs with that franchise. So, things do evolve. And, whether that's a knockoff, I don't quite think so, to be real. Everybody's doing live service games like we've referenced 2 weeks ago. Over 500 studios are embracing this new realm of gaming, but we'll see what's good. But I haven't quite heard it from you yet. It kind of feels like you're kind of dabbling a little bit. For someone who hasn't been playing Tekken for, a franchise or two IPs back, how you vibing?
I think I actually really like it. I really had a great
time. Do you like it or you actually like it?
No, I do. I do really like it. I had a great time playing it. It was a bit confusing, like I said, with the story, but the story is never really like a big focus for this sort of game. It's more so, like you were saying, the online play against other people. And this game has rollback netcode, which is something that's pretty much essential for a fighting game in 2024. And that makes it actually enjoyable rather than not having rollback netcode, where
it's also very enjoyable.
If someone doesn't have a great connection, you're not gonna have a good time if it doesn't have that.
That's true too, but what's also enjoyable, which is a big credit to Namco, which is basically the queues. You could get a rematch really fast, and the lag is not very jittery at all. That's a major plus, because I know that's been a big debate with the fighting community, especially with like how rapid fire and how you gotta parry and block, and you got a bad connection. It's like, well, what the hell am I playing online play for? If we're not getting that like kind of real time movement, it completely defeats the purpose. So that is a great movement, but I still feel like these fighter games need to evolve. They need to do what Street Fighter's doing. Do an open world format. You have all this amazing landscape, but you don't do anything with the background. If anything, you got wall hazards and all that other dumb shit. Evolve, please, evolve. Tekken, for the love of.
So it's a pause for you. I'm going to say it's a repeat for me, but here's the question. Between the three, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, or Mortal Kombat 1, what's your ranking for those?
Man, dude, I have to still say I'm being biased here. Mortal Kombat, it's because I grew up with it. You fall in love with those iconic characters. And then I'd say Street Fighter, just because I love the open world format. It was such a refreshing change. And then yes, Tekken is clearly the last of the three.
Fair enough. I mean, I can definitely see there's, great things in each of them, but my ranking would definitely be Street Fighter 6, then Tekken 8, then Mortal Kombat 1.
Okay. Okay.
Wasn't really vibing too much with some of the changes in Mortal Kombat 1, clearly.
See, this is what's going to be great inside the comment section. So we definitely want to hear from you guys. Like, what are you vibing with? What are the top 3 fighting games out there? We want to know.
And
from
maybe
you
it's
guys.
not even one of those. I mean, there's other fighting games that came out even this year. So
That's true. So there's a lot of options, but just want to let you guys know this is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and we got so much more left here on the program. So, HenricK, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
absolutely. Let's get it.
Hey, let's get it, baby. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. OpenAI has just unveiled SORA, its groundbreaking video generating model. SORA's ability to simulate digital worlds with unparalleled realism could revolutionize the video game industry, offering developers new tools for creating immersive gaming experiences like never before. And if you haven't seen it, wow, this is futurism at its highest level. Well, HenricK, I would say she's a very nice looking lady. I'd like to meet her one day. Oh, wait, I can't because she's not real. What
Not
in the
yet.
world?
Someone is going to make that possible. Watch.
That's true. The country of Japan does do a little bit of freaky deaky stuff sometimes, be dating virtual stuff. Like, I didn't even know that's even a thing. But hey, you never know with this whole new text to prompt model. And I think it's really important before we go into the comments. This is very much like what OpenAI has unveiled with their image generator, DAL-E. Essentially what you do is you write out a text prompt on your keyword and you essentially write whatever you want. Hey, I want a nice woman walking down the street in Tokyo. I want it above shot, and I want some snow falling in the city, like that first clip that we showed you. And it can do animation. You give it detailed text prompts, it will deliver within seconds. And they develop videos about 60 seconds long. And it's not open to the public as of yet. But let's go ahead and read the comments, because the first one that we got here is, you scientists are so preoccupied with whether or not you can, you don't stop to think if you should.
The classic Jurassic Park line.
Exactly. The entire stock footage industry just died with this one tweet. Rest in peace. Moment of silence. Okay, that's it. No more silence.
I mean...
And that was my first reaction when I saw it. I was like, this is amazing. Wow.
It still has to have something to train on, though, so there's
Very
probably going to still be stock footage.
Absolutely. Very good point. Very good point, HenricK. It's got to only learn what's on the internet. It's not going to turn into Terminator. Can't think of it on its own.
Not yet.
Not yet. This is exactly what SAG-AFTRA was scared of. Or scared about, excuse me. Oh, yeah, they were so scared that they signed a deal with Replica Studios to be able to sell AI voices of voiceover actors without actually consulting with that community. But yeah, go on. Tell them that's exactly what SAG was afraid about. They don't give a shit, bro. I'm telling you, they don't, Jay. Sorry, bro. Wow, this is truly amazing. OpenAI just can't stop killing startups. Or evolving. This is terrifying and going to steal jobs, not to mention the amount of terrible things this could be used for. I don't think y'all realize how many artists you're effing over right now. And last, need everyone to reckon with the fact that this dude was not effing around when he said this, and we should take it seriously as the threat that it is. The headline that read, with the CEO in the image, tech bros like OpenAI's Sam Altman keep obsessing about replacing the median human with AI. Yeah, so, this has been something that's been long discussed. It's probably happened a lot faster than we ever could have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we had Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it looked terrible.
Or Kebble Cobb.
Kind of like that.
Kebble Cobb we discussed last season.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're talking about the Will Smith. Remind the listeners about what was initially happening when it came to Will Smith, and why is Will Smith associated with AI?
Yeah, someone put in a prompt, hey, make me a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was garbly gook looking kind of gross footage
just was
of Will
random.
Smith. It kind of did look like it was him eating spaghetti, but
it
also
really
it
does.
was like it was like almost not at the same time. It was almost just like a mishmash of garbled textures. But then now you have this. This actually looks like something that a drone has filmed or an actual person has filmed, and that's a wild advancement in such a short amount of time.
Oh, it really is, man, because there's already really, really scary things that are already going on, especially on the platform X. I know, female stars, for example, that podcast girl, Bobby, she got an AI generated video, and people
With
don't know
Drake,
whether
right?
SORA. Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
basically her naked. And she had to go on her social media account this morning, as of this Wednesday, to address to her listeners and even her own peers that work behind the scenes for her, like, trust me, this ain't me. I'm on X. It popped up on my feed. I've seen it. It really looks like her. That's the very scary part. And I know Elon Musk has spoken up on his platform saying about photos only, not videos as of yet, from what I've read. But for photos, they're going to start labeling which photos are actually AI generated. And that's been the topic of conversations because, baby boomers are being made fun of on the internet, on Facebook, Meta, because, they'd be liking and commenting on these beautiful castles that aren't real. And they're going, this is why this is so scary. And this is an election year, right? And so a lot of people are getting very, very fearful about what's real and what's not, and whether they can tweak videos to make it seem like, hey, this is what this guy said in 2018. You're like, no, man, that just got generated this year, the year of the Mamba. So, but to bring it back to video games, because this is what Rage Quit's all about, HenricK, like, what are some of the potential challenges that developers might face in integrating SORA's advanced video generating capabilities into an existing video game development pipelines?
Well, they'd have to find some way to integrate it into their engines. And I believe we had some news that there was some relation to this in terms of to Unreal Engine 5, which a lot of games are really moving over to.
They don't know that as of yet, but you are, since you're jumping to that, they've been saying that, like the likes of Fortnite, Remnant 2, Tekken 8 that we just covered on Pause or Repeat, people are starting to speculate whether this new, because there is a video that's circulating around Minecraft, for example, and we do have a clip that we will go ahead and showcase to you guys, because, again, what HenricK referenced at the top, right? You're going, hey, man, it only knows what's on the internet. It only knows on what it provides you, right? But remember the New York Times? Do you remember them? They were suing ChatGPT right now. And why are they doing that? Because they're pissed off because they believe that OpenAI took over 46,000 articles from them, fed it into their model, and that's what trained it to be able to produce the content that you have access on your mobile device, to your PC, essentially almost everywhere. And so why is it so particularly close to Minecraft? That is what's in question. If you guys haven't seen the clip, it's wild. Like, I mean, I got excited when I saw it, but then again, others are very, very scared. Let's take a look. So as you can clearly see there, if someone told me that was a new patch for Minecraft, HenricK, I would have been like, damn, that's pretty cool. Did you notice the shader? Like under the trees and stuff? Like, Minecraft doesn't have that. Like, so you see that and you go, wow, that's an awesome adaptation. And then all of a sudden you see it's almost like a near identical hallucination replica. I can kind of see where you're going.
Because, they would need to have some sort of way to still manipulate it as a person and have some way for the gamer to interact with it. Whereas this right now is probably just text prompts, and that's about it.
You don't
Like,
think
hey,
that
I want a person walking down Times Square. Okay,
oh,
cool.
okay, gotcha. I get what you're saying about that, but when it comes to like the Minecraft, you don't think that it fed all the information from like Unreal Engine 5 into the Sora model, and then potentially even further without the consent of the developers and studios and publishers of Minecraft, and just fed it into the model? I mean, that's almost like so freaking close.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, and we'll have to see when more. I guess when this tool develops to a point where developers actually decide to utilize it. I think at the very least, right now, it's probably going to be really easy for them to utilize it in terms of pre-rendered cutscenes. But at the same time, a lot of games are starting to do not any pre-rendered cutscenes. They're starting to just do things in-engine. That way, kind of in a sense, like, oh, this is how the game is supposed to look, and now we're just flowing from gameplay into just a cutscene that's rendered in real time. A lot of games do that, have been doing that, but it's more this generation happening because of the fact that the gameplay itself has the fidelity of a cutscene.
That makes sense, man. And OpenAI, like we were referencing, is facing lawsuits for training a GPT-2 and GPT-3 on the New York Times articles without payment. Also, they say to have used web text to scrape Netflix of over 42,000 times, according to data made public by GitHub. And also, get this, Crunchyroll, Hulu, and a YouTube doubler were also mentioned as video formats used to train OpenAI's model. So very wild. Again, not open to the public. What a wild time that we're living in. So freaking insane. Maybe Sora could have been used on this next patch, or maybe not. Break down what's going on, HenricK.
Yeah, so Overwatch 2, the game that everyone loves nowadays, its latest season 9.
That was sarcasm. You better start that over. That's a lot of sarcasm. Okay, go on.
All right, Overwatch 2's latest season 9's rework, has stirred up controversy as Blizzard introduces bigger bullets, making aiming optional for some heroes. If you have no clue what's going on, take a look for yourself.
When people were saying Hanzo's dead, that you can't one-shot headshot anymore, that is a significant difference. The hat's over here. I'm aiming over here. So, just above the health bar. Don't bother AD-80 strafing as Symmetra, because holy shit.
So while some players welcome the change as a refreshing twist, others feel divided, struggling to adapt to this fundamental shift in gameplay dynamics with the following comments.
Yeah, I would say a lot of them have been more divisive.
Yeah.
At this point, remove the character models and make everyone a walking rectangle. Pretty much.
They could do that, yeah. That's essentially what characters are anyways.
Why did you have to tell the people that, man? Are you saying they got real lazy, Blizzard?
So I had to pull back the veil real quick.
Oh, okay, gotcha. If you fire a gun in somebody's zip code, you can get a headshot. Yeah, you ain't lying. Overwatch developers really said, quote, aim a problem? Well, doesn't exist anymore, end quote. Talk about dying around a corner. Holy shit.
No, really, though.
I played Soldier today. 60 to 70% of ACS and 20 to 30 eliminations every game without trying. They need to tweak some things. And last, though I think hitting shots often felt inconsistent, after playing about a dozen games, I can firmly say this was a giant overcorrection, and the developers need to change the projectile sizes ASAP. So, HenricK, why has Blizzard decided to put the training wheels on Overwatch 2's gameplay dynamics in Season 9? I mean, Season 9. This is not the first 4 seasons. This is Season 9. Why is gaming optional?
It could be any number of things. It could be, hey, we're seeing our numbers of players drop, so we need to get some people in here. But then they got to learn how to aim in the game, because the game is really fast-paced. There's a lot of team fights that some of these characters, they're really hard to hit in the first
Well, there's a lot
place
of
with
erratic
characters.
movement, right? You know?
Yeah, it's just how the game is designed. So this kind of alleviates players trying to learn how to aim in the game properly. It could be that, or it could be, hey, we just didn't know what we were doing and we decided to do something. At the end of the day, I can give it to them, hey, you did get people talking about the game.
They definitely got people talking about the game. It's probably not exactly what you were anticipating. Blizzard has clapped back at people like you, HenricK. You know that, right?
Oh,
They're not vibing with that take, because Blizzard says all the changes were meant to remove one-shots and burst healing from the game. But clearly gamers miss the one-shots, right?
Well,
or no?
Here's the thing about the one-shots in a game like Overwatch. It's nice when you're the one making the one shot. Like if you get a headshot with Widowmaker and you take out one of their supports, it's like, oh, nice. Now we can push in. But if you're the one getting headshot and you die in one shot, that doesn't feel so good, right? It's just kind of how the game has been, playing around that dynamic for, what is it now? 9 seasons in this game and 20 plus seasons in Overwatch 1. So it's been a dynamic that this game has been struggling with for a very, very long time. And it's not just Overwatch, it's other games struggle with this too, because there are other games out there that have the same thing, where there's some weapons that when you get a skill shot in, characters will die in one shot. But that's the thing, it's a skill shot.
Yeah, but the thing is,
this when you make the projectile
I gotta say though, HenricK, you brought a lot of sarcasm before you started up this topic, okay? And what I'm wondering is, what has made you not want to return back to Overwatch 2? What is it? I mean, it feels like they're trying to bring you back, the gamer, and they make these changes, but clearly you're still not sold. What is it that this is really kind of just a one take from you, not the overall gaming community's overall view.
Right, of course.
But what is it that you want to see in Overwatch 2 that would really, excel it to that next level?
Well, the two major things that took me away from Overwatch, because I played Overwatch for many, many seasons, even in ranked solo queue. And the two things was, one, in Overwatch 2, they switched to a different monetization model. So no longer could you play a character that just came out unless you bought it, basically. That's one thing I don't really agree with personally. Another thing is the character balance in the game is non-existent. It is to an extent, but it's constantly changing because they nerf one character because pros complain, or whoever complains, and then they move on to the next meta pick character. The whole problem with that is, if I'm just trying to play the game and trying to play a role that I like if I like playing tank, all of a sudden the tank character that I mained is not a meta pick anymore, and then when I go into ranked, people are constantly yelling at me, why are you playing this character? This character sucks now. You gotta be playing this character who's now the meta. And it's like, I just want to play the game, bro.
Yeah,
just
right. Come on, man. Come on. Why are you sweating like that, man? It's true. I mean, you got like Mercy's pistol, for example, that shoots projectiles that look like rockets while you're shooting at a stationary target. That's always been a debate for the longest time. But I know former Team USA and Houston Outlaw esports athlete Jake has said that Overwatch 2's recent Season 9 balance overhaul is generally good for the game, and people complaining about the projectile size or the rectangle are, quote, stupid. And to elaborate on that, the quote that he said is, shooting at bots standing still to show how the hitbox is, quote, so enormous, end quote, and how aiming is so, quote, so easy now is actually offensively stupid. What do you say to that? I think he's stupid. Why are you not playing the game anymore?
I mean, there's a lot of takes that pro gamers in any game are going to have that the majority of people are not going to really vibe with. The game that I play more so than Overwatch is Apex Legends, for example. The professionals in that scene are constantly complaining about some gun being broken, but then you play the game and you're like, it's whatever, It's really when you get to those higher ranks where you're playing with the maybe 1% of players that you then see the differences in balance more so. That's why things like this happen, or things like how in Apex they'll nerf a gun because some
Right.
group of professionals say this gun is overtuned right now and you got to nerf it. And then what do? They move on to the next thing that's broken and say, we got to complain about this next.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think it's kind of wild that it's like one sole guy standing on his own island, an esports athlete, is defending Blizzard while the rest of the Overwatch gaming community is like going, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
Can we go
like
back?
If they're not having fun as a community, the game is not fun as a whole.
And
Whether
so,
a professional thinks it's a great change or not, they need to change something to make it fun again.
Yeah, because the hard reality might hit, Jake, where if this game, flutters, off into the distance and it's never around anymore, what's your next career move?
Exactly.
I mean, you got to back up.
At that point.
It's gonna be. But I'm sure this one guy is gonna be all right. But you get the point. There's gonna be other guys out there. If you keep complaining, it's like, gosh, man, who freaking knows? Crazy time that we're in, especially when it comes to the world of esports, which is kind of like a parlay going into the next topic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are the, professionals? You were just talking about how professionals have stances about certain things, and sometimes it's controversial what they have in terms of saying, but there's a couple of professionals in a different esports genre that are really vocal about something. Let us know what's going on, Chris.
Yeah, this is really insane. It is very meaty, chunky, straight to the bone, so bear with me as I break this down, because this is blockbuster in the esports world. So icons, Hector Rodriguez, known as H3CZ and founder scum of esports team OpTic Gaming. You might have heard of them, right? OpTic Gaming, kind of carrying Call of Duty for the longest time, HenricK. Well, they're making headlines because they demand over $680 million in damages from Activision Blizzard. Their lawsuit alleges that the gaming giant's monopoly over professional Call of Duty leagues and tournaments is unlawful, shedding light on the complex dynamics between developers and esports athletes in the industry. Well, Activision has responded to the lawsuit filed by OpTic Gaming, stating the following. Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Abner, that is Scum's legal name, demanded that Activision pay them tens of millions of dollars to avoid the meritless litigation, and when their demands were not met, they filed. We will strongly defend against these claims, which have no basis in fact or in law. We are disappointed that these members of the esports community would bring this suit, which is disruptive to the team owners, players, fans, and partners who have invested so much time and energy into the Call of Duty's league's success. And yeah, I mean, this is why this is so crazy. OpTic Gaming is, kind of feels like
it's a big name.
Yeah, it's a big name. It feels like it carries them. But the lawsuit
people
claims,
would be in their montages and just be like, they hit a headshot, a quick shot, and be like, OpTic.
Yeah, right.
Like calling,
that's a good
I'm
point.
as good as them.
But the lawsuit claims that before 2019, professional Call of Duty esports was a competitive market with various leagues, including those run by Activision, GameStop, and Major League Gaming. They allege that Activision's acquisition of Major League Gaming in 2016 for $46 million eliminated a major competitor without FTC approval, leading to an unlawful monopoly. That's the problem, though, right? Within the FTC, you got a lot of guys that don't really know what esports are like. So, yeah, maybe they're a little slow, okay? They're a little slow to kind of tackle this. But gamers were quick to respond to the lawsuit. So we got the first comment that I got right here. The one team that carried Call of Duty esports for years is now suing Call of Duty. Crazy. Yeah,
like you were saying.
Wild. They're gonna bankrupt the CDL to fund the CWL, and it's going to be the most glorious thing we've ever seen. Bankrupt? Getting bankrupt anytime soon. Where do people get this idea?
Yeah, that's one take if you want to say
that's a bold take. $27.5 million to enter the league is honestly one of the craziest things I've read. And to kind of elaborate on that, according to the lawsuit, Activision Blizzard charged 12 teams $27.5 million each to compete in the Call of Duty League. That is what OpTic Gaming is claiming. And I'm with you. $27.5 million just to enter a league.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, man. And then you got to pay the roster. Golly.
Yeah.
Hope they win. CDL has been a joke over the last few years, thinking they can get away with anything. Miss the Major League Gaming days. Activision downfall had to happen at some point. They're one of the biggest frauds in the gaming industry. They might be frauds to people's eyes, but are they on the downfall? Some would beg to differ.
Yeah, considering they just had a huge acquisition from Microsoft.
Right. You know, like $69 billion.
I think they're doing okay.
I think they're doing all right, too.
Big Daddy Microsoft is going to make sure they survive.
Oh, Big Daddy Microsoft. Okay. This will be an interesting lawsuit because Activision owns Call of Duty, unlike other sports leagues where ownership is distributed differently. Plus, Activision could just end the CDL and all Call of Duty esports and move on too. Will be very interesting to see what happens. And that is an amazing point because HenricK, I mean, does OpTic Gaming have a legitimate case against Activision, considering that Call of Duty is the intellectual property of the company, even though they argue that the competitive landscape in professional esports is completely gone out the window. It's a monopoly because of them. How do you view this right now? I know it's chunky.
Well, I mean, like we were looking at, $27.5 million just to enter, and then that's not even accounting for, like you were saying, having to pay the roster of your team as well.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money just to get into the league, and that really is Activision then saying, if you don't have this money, you can't be a part of this. And guess what? There's no other place to compete because we said that's not going to happen.
And you know what also is not? And you know what's also not going to happen too, HenricK? I know you need money. I know you need to pay for that entry fee, and I know you'd like to get these lucrative sponsorships. But guess what? There's going to be numerous restrictions coming your way, and participating in or supporting any other Call of Duty league unacceptable once you join Activision's Call of Duty League. So I can see why there is a bit of disgruntled there. But also, I don't know if gamers remember, Activision in Call of Duty got a little bit, well, not Activision, they weren't as of yet, I'm speaking out of term, but Call of Duty, right? They actually, you know, in the past on Twitch, AOC, for example, you know, Congresswoman went after Twitch and Call of Duty for throwing up sponsorships of the military or the Navy. They didn't want things closely associated with. That's what brought on the first of what numerous restrictions were to come later on because, yeah, they kind of felt like, you know what, that's a good point. You know, this is our intellectual property. We need to protect the overall image. Yes, we understand it's a war game, but we don't necessarily support all the world's, you know, military, right? So that's when it can kind of get a little muddy. But I guess there might be a point that OpTic Gaming might be able to stand on, and that is first reported by Bloomberg Law. Hector Rodriguez says he was forced into financially devastating partnership to continue competing. And what do I mean by that? In 2017, he claims that he sold an alleged 92.5% stake in OpTic Gaming's parent company to Texas Rangers co-owners. And then he had to fight like hell just to try to acquire it back. So then in 2019, Immortals Gaming Club bought the parent company for about $100 million, but then later reacquired OpTic Gaming brand in 2020. But they then had to eventually merge with Envy Gaming, and I think that's where the disgruntle's kind of coming, right? You know, you had this elite, major brand, you know, really that didn't really need Call of Duty. These superstar athletes were the ones that every young generation of gamers were gravitating towards. And so to see that baby go away to the hands of billionaires, yeah, I think that kind of would piss me off too. But does that make it that they actually have a case though? Sounds like maybe a lot of bad misfortunes coming their way, and you know now they're kind of playing a crisis control, you know, trying to take out the fight, trying to limit the fire from, you know, really taking over the house, but there's no extinguisher. No running water.
It's possible that they might just get thrown out, or their case might be ruled in disfavor of their arguments, but I think at the same time, it does bring up a good argument of why is there no push for more community-based events around these games that are big, like Call of Duty? And it probably is a legal thing. I'm not a lawyer. It's probably a legal thing with licensing.
That's what they're suggesting. You know, they're suggesting that, like, we want to go and participate in other tournaments. We'd like to kind of train on a level to get ready for it, but we can't because we signed into this really crazy lucrative entry fee of $27.5 million, and then we can't play anywhere else. And then if I want to go and stream and I want to go and pick up sponsorships, now you guys are like the middleman to tell me what I can and can't do. I feel like I'm on a tight grass, and I think that's kind of what they're getting at. But $680 million kind of sounds like a stretch. I don't really understand the whole justification for that large sum, but maybe being able to recompensate the cost of, you know, essentially having to reacquire OpTic Gaming might be one thing, because there are reports that Activision, well, Hector reached out to Activision. He said, you know, that Activision came back to him and said, hey, you know, we need to make sure that you have $3 million in cash stock ready. And then he had the money, proved it. This is what he's claiming. And then Activision came back with another notice that said, you know, we really need to make sure that you have $10 million in cash stock. He essentially proves that on file, showcases it to Activision, and then they go, you know what, Hector Scum, I don't think you guys are a good representation of Call of Duty. And we think that you guys need to join together with the billionaire investment firm. And that's where they got really pissed off. I mean, if that's truly the case, Henrik, the audacity to say that to OpTic Gaming that's been carrying the esports of Call of Duty is pretty mind-boggling.
Well, not only that, it's just like you're giving them the runaround, regardless of who they are. Like, you're just giving them the runaround in terms of saying you're just moving the goalpost further and further away. And you basically, at that point, said, if you're not backed by that billion dollar investment firm, then we're not even going to look at you. And at that point, are you really, really looking for the people who are, like you were saying, carrying the whole scene to be involved? Are you really looking to get them involved, or are you just trying to get money out of them?
Yeah, I mean, on a final note, it kind of makes you think about, you know, Scum. You remember when he did that retirement video? Kind of wonder if this was always kind of, you know, building up that we never even heard about for years. Because I always kind of felt like that was
in the background.
Yeah, I always kind of thought that was an early retirement, you know. But then again, we're in a new era of esports athletes. I mean, they could retire at such an early age. But you kind of feel like there is more to it now. I don't know. We won't know. And I know both of those gentlemen are keeping a very tight lip, because clearly they're in a massive lawsuit and all their words could be used against them. But if we get more information about the case, probably won't be anytime soon. You know, we'll see what happens. Maybe we might revisit this again on Patch Notes. But let's go ahead and take a transition. I know a lot of people are been talking about this. This has been the big buzz all day today. Break it down, Henrik.
Yeah, so get ready, Vault Hunters, because Borderlands is finally getting its own cinematic universe.
Finally!
Yeah. Fans of the looter shooter franchise are either thrilled or extremely ticked off with director Eli Roth, who is set to bring the beloved game series to life. Let's take a look at the movie trailer.
Would you look at that? A ladder! Unfortunately, my design doesn't facilitate this type of...
Well, destiny awaits.
It's Pete. It's Pete. Why do you think it's called Piss Wash? How did I get the name?
It's in my mouth! Time to make it rain! With your body parts!
What did I tell you?
Minimal explosion!
I said no explosion!
So founder of Gearbox Entertainment, Randy Pitchford, and director Eli Roth can't wait for gamers to watch their film on August 9th this summer. But what are fans saying about the trailer? We have some comments, so
what
let's pull those
are
up.
the fans saying? So the first comment that we got here is, I don't know if anyone on God's green earth was playing Borderlands and thought to themselves, you know who would Roland really reminds me of? Kevin Hart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very problematic. This feels like someone asked ChatGPT to write a Borderlands movie script. Yeah, good point. Wasn't used by SORA. As a fan of the game since 2009, I probably would have done everything completely different. All this trailer tells me is that it's going to end with, we may have not found the vault, but we found friends along the way.
Yeah, some cheesy ending.
Super cheesy ending. Bob, we have Guardians of the Galaxy at home. It does give off that vibe.
Yeah.
And last, disappointed that the iconic Tiny Tina voice and insanity is missing. While I do love Jack Black, nothing beats the original voice actor for Claptrap. I gotta agree. Why are we all making out of nowhere Jack Black is like the messiah of all things video games? Yes, he's a great actor, but come on, can we stop with this nonsense? Like, I'm having a hard time getting excited. Are you feeling any different kind of emotion when you look at this trailer?
I mean, a lot of those comments said my first initial thoughts as well, like, Kevin Hart, what is he doing here?
Yeah, right. Like how can you be the same height as Tiny Tina, right?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, and then Jack Black, like, he's great, and I'm sure he's going to be probably the best part of the movie, but Jack Black again? Come on.
Yeah,
you could have gotten the same actor who does the voice in the games because it's just a voice.
Well, it goes back to that conversation about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's like, do we really need Chris Pratt to sell the film? You can't just get the original voiceover actor that we all love dearly and known and recognize his voice for years. I mean, Claptrap is the perfect voiceover actor for the job. And when you have someone that's an executive producer on the film, like, why am I blanking out on the guys? Gearbox Entertainment, Randy Pitchford, why don't you utilize the assets that make the game so great to begin with? And I don't know about you. Yeah, I got Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. But to be fair with this movie, this thing's been going in development since 2017. First announced in 2015. 2017 when they finally got the ball rolling. And get this, the film studio Lionsgate has been trying to make this movie based on this sci-fi looter shooter for a while. And the reason that this could be a very problematic film, just saying, I'm just speaking to what reports are saying, because in January 2023, they had a reported test screening for the film, and it didn't go over well. And they had to do 2 weeks of reshoots were ordered. And you know what the really fascinating part about this is, Henrik? The fascinating part is they didn't bring back director Eli Roth for the reshoots. They brought Deadpool director Tim Miller to fill in the void. Should we be concerned, or do you think that's a plus? I mean, I thought the Deadpool 3 trailer was freaking badass, but when you hear these kind of things, could be a good
thing, could be a bad thing. It's one of those things where, like, if the director of Deadpool decides to put in that bit of comedy and it meshes with the rest of the movie, great. If it doesn't mesh with the rest of the movie, it's going to be kind of jarring maybe to see the parts that were reshot and the parts that were already done and have a different style to them, essentially. It's one of those things you'll have to see when the movie comes out if the style was modified to be what it originally was with Eli Roth.
Yeah, because it feels like
is this you saying that the casting you don't really jive with it? You sure you didn't want Mark Wahlberg to be in this as well? Considering
you're really gonna go
the
there?
Producer was the same producer as Uncharted.
I was trying.
The
my best
connections are there, man.
Yeah, gosh, I was trying my best not to reference that, but since you went there, because Henrik just knows I just love the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland. No, I don't actually. And the producer for Borderlands is the guy that did Uncharted and Venom. Venom, super lackluster movie.
Yeah, does that give you any pause or confidence in this? necessarily.
No, I got like zero hype right now. I thought the trailer is too clean. Where's the grittiness that you get from the Borderlands video game franchise? That is completely out
it has
the window.
That like comic book style that it's completely missing.
It's gone.
It seems like
it's completely gone, and that's why I understand why so many viewers, when they watch the trailer, went Guardians of the Galaxy. And you go, yeah, it does feel like that, and that might be a big mistake because, unfortunately, in the back of your cranium, when you're watching the film, you're going to be thinking about the latest entry of Guardians of the Galaxy, and you might end up comparing Borderlands to that movie, and that's very problematic for a cinematic movie like this that's getting its first ever adaptation with this video game series. And so that's why I kind of wonder, it's like, would Borderlands work better as an animated show compared to a live action movie? Because I know even Randy Pitchford, he was saying, I'll let you chime in, but I got to say this because you're going to laugh at this. I watched, IGN actually has a special video out today. It's about 15 minutes long where Randy Pitchford, he's the Gearbox Entertainment founder, he's reviewing his own trailer, right? And at one moment, what really caught me, HenricK, was he goes, Kevin Hart, he's not just known as the comedy star that you guys know. He's actually an action star. Action star? What? Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. I was befuddled. Man. I was like, really? Kevin Hart is now an action star? Prove me wrong. I hope they do. I really do hope that they prove me wrong at one point. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are people vibing when it comes to Borderlands? Were you jazzed? Do you think this was like way overdue?
I mean, to bring it back to the animated show question, I think it actually would do pretty well as an animated show. I think that that's something that a lot of these big productions are really forgetting. A lot of the times they're thinking, oh, if we're going to adapt a movie to the big screen or to a TV series, we got to make it live action. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. Because you can just do an animated one. Maybe it might cost you about the same money in terms of a budget to make it, or maybe less because they treat those animators so poorly, which that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
maybe
totally
they should be treating them better. But, I mean, you can do a lot of things with an animated series that you wouldn't be able to do with a TV series that's just, live action, or a movie series that's live action, because you don't have to cast people and have the limitations of people. You can animate something really awesome.
Yeah.
Look at what Into the Spider-Verse did.
It could have worked as an anime. Yeah, it's true. It could have worked as as Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could reach that aesthetic. As for now, not clearly selling with me. But then again, what are you, the gamers, feeling? Are you vibing? Or are you super freaking excited? I mean, has this been something that you've been waiting for? Or is this something that you're like, please, for the love of God, leave my beloved video game series alone? Please, please, let us know what's good. But hey, we definitely want to let you guys know, since we are at the end of today's episode of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, that we want to thank you, the gamers, for tuning in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because if it wasn't for you guys, this show would not be possible. So make sure you go ahead and go to my channel, Chris Collins Show, and HenricK the Rex YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a live show. HenricK the Rex and I, we will see you either later tonight or next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace.
See ya.